all dogs are gun shy. If you don't go over gun shyness and get them accustomed to hearing loud sounds, they're all going to be screwed up when they hear the loud sound. Don't think of it as like testing the dog out too. Like if you have an older dog, he's 2, 1, whatever, 6 months, and you're gonna take the dog out and see how it is around, gunfire. I guarantee you it's gonna flip the dog out. You better have the dog on a leash, and don't be standing around the dog. You want to step back. You want to step back 100 feet. You could even step back further. You don't necessarily have to have them on a leash. You could have them in a kennel too. That's acceptable. If you have them on a leash, you put them in a high collar. See how the leash is? See how I have it? So that she has really not too much room to move. That's it. That's a high collar. A leash is on the dog and the leash goes straight up. So there's not really pressure on it, but there's no room for the dog to get any type of motion. Yeah, I mean it can move a little bit, but it's in a high collar. But you could also use a crate. This crate would be, for this dog, might be a little bit big for doing this. You would want to have the dog not in a giant crate. This isn't giant, but you don't want the dog to get a lot of motion. But the other thing about the reason why I can do it with this dog is because when this dog was eating, if you have a puppy and you take a frying pan and a hammer and you smack the frying pan real loud while the puppy's eating when it's young, that will help habituate the dog to loud sounds. You're not classically conditioning the dog. That is not what you're doing when you do this. You're just getting the dog accustomed to hearing loud sounds, and while it's eating, it's distracted. So I did that with her, and so I already know that she's at that level where she just keeps eating. She doesn't care. So I know that in this situation, I can use a crate. But you want to make sure that you have some kind of element of control. It could be your friend, it could be your wife, your boyfriend. They could be standing off at a distance with the dog. And you go off that way 100 feet. And if the dog gets real, if there's a real negative response, you could do some leash flexing. The person with the dog could do some leash flexing or give the dog a correction. That's acceptable too. There's a lot of different ways you could do this. Just know that you have to have some kind of element of control. If I fire the gun on just about any dog that I haven't gone over this with and they're not on a leash and I'm even back 100 feet, they hear this, they take off. So I don't do that. I never do that. I always have the dog in a high collar at first, or in this case, I'm using a crate. But I already know this dog isn't going to freak out. So I'm going to put her in the crate. I'm going to walk back 50 feet or something. I'm going to fire the 22. Watch her in the crate. We want to look for, like, if would be a lot of spinning, that would be a bad sign. That wouldn't be a bad sign. That would be just a sign that I need to go farther back and work longer with the dog. And maybe if there was spinning, I definitely wouldn't use the crate anymore. I'd put her in a high collar. Do you see what I'm saying? All dogs are different. It doesn't matter. All dogs are gun shy, pretty much. But you can make them all un-gun shy and accustomed to the sound. You just have to use your head. Don't take the dog out, fire a gun right beside it. You'll just flip the dog out. Lola, whoa! Oh, awesome! Awesome! Very good! Yeah, that was great. Good job, dude. Good girl. the big test is to see if she comes out of here and functions. So now I'm gonna let her out, and I just wanna see how she functions right away. Like, if she's responsive and not totally freaked out and listening to commands, I'm good to go with getting closer, and then that's what we'll do. Heel. No, heel. You're good, dude. Notice there was very little movement when I fired the gun. That doesn't mean that we don't still keep doing it in a high collar for a while. We have some more sessions to do before we bring in the dummy launcher, and she's gonna watch Tonka doing the dummy launcher first before we even attempt that. And I had to see if she's large enough to even hold a dummy launcher. But that's great, that's great. Take your time with your dog. Just because you have your dog to this point, say you're at this point, is your dog rock solid? No, you gotta keep conditioning this. We're not done with this. Make the dog stronger, make the dog better. That's your goal. If you're not using a crate with your dog and there's thunder or fireworks, your dog can acquire these phobias of fireworks, cars backfiring, anything like that. You should be using a crate so that if you're not home and something happens outside, a car backfires, whatever, that your dog doesn't get positive reinforcement by being able to run. That's going to condition them. Every time they hear that loud sound, they're going to want to take off and be shaking and just be terrified. Take your time with this. Start when they're a puppy. Do like I did with the cast iron pan and the hammer. It's 8 weeks old. You're feeding the dog. Smack the hammer. That's the approach you should take. It doesn't matter if this is a Maltese. It doesn't matter what kind of dog you have. You should go over this with your dog. I don't hear any dog trainers talking about this except hunting dog trainers, and it's absurd. It's absurd that this kind of stuff isn't gone over with puppies that are going to be house dogs. Any dog that comes here, if it's a puppy, I'm going to go over this. You're damn right. I want a dog going back that's stable. That's what you want. You want a stable dog. You're a very good girl. She's becoming very stable around a gunshot. She's doing great. Lola, look up. Good girl. Sit! Sit! You're awesome, man. You are freaking awesome, sister. That is really good, dude. Sit. Good girl. That's good. Good job. You did good, dude. Sit. No, sit. Okay, here. Okay, hurry, hurry.